Would you want to live in a world in which you constantly had to be fearful that everyone would try to take everything from you all the time? Welcome to For One Another. I'm Robin. Today I have a special challenge. There are many philosophies for how to live your life. I have a stack of them. Here, let's see if I can show some of them. I am a martial artist for life, so I'm going to have a lot of those. So this is the life-giving sword. It's one of the preeminent sword living strategies. Musashi's Book of Five Rings. It's the other of three primary sword to life strategies. The Rational Male by Rollo Tomassi, who has a lot of YouTube videos. The Art of the Samurai. This is the Takagure. It's the samurai's life lessons, how to live as a samurai would have lived. And this is just pretty random. I just grabbed some things off the shelf. No More Mr. Nice Guy. The 48 Laws of Power. The Bible. So those are just an example of some different ways to live. And if you read them, they'll all tell you how to be successful, how to win in, according to their philosophies, in your relationships, in work, how to get ahead the right way, according to what those philosophies will say. And so the question is there one that works? A good way to test them is to ask a key question. If we took the basic prescribed actions, because they are all going to kind of boil down to 5, 10, 20 things that this is the way to live. If we were to do all those things, how would it work for us and those around us? That second part's important because we share space on the planet. The philosophies have to work if everyone were to follow them. If I follow a philosophy and my neighbor follows the same philosophy, but that forces us against each other, then there's going to be a problem with the philosophy because somebody has to lose. If I follow a philosophy and my neighbor follows the same philosophy and we both end up better off living a higher standard, then that's probably a good thing. So we can look at that about the philosophy. Does anyone have to lose in order to win in terms of suffering? Does someone else have to suffer for me to gain? Okay? Or an even better way to say it would be if everyone on earth believed that those things are true, whether they are or not, what would happen? Would it be good or would it be bad? Well, let's take a look. Well, I am a Christian, and so clearly the Bible, whatever else I read, the Bible would need to be a lens for me to follow its philosophy first. And so the primary prescriptions that I would want to test are the 10 Commandments and Jesus' summary of that. And then maybe a couple of the apostles' writings about how to apply those things in daily life, in basic scenarios. So let's take a look at that. Here is written 10 prescriptions of how to live, and it's based on a belief that there's a creator who designed us all. Well, let's look at the 10 Commandments. Those are the basic prescriptions for how God says he designed things to work. The first thing we've noticed is the first 4 have to do with God himself, and the next 6 have to do with our relationships with each other. The first 4 say this: don't put other gods before me, number 1. 2, don't make an idol out of other things. Number 3, take me, God, seriously. Don't take the Lord's name in vain. Number 4, remember what you've been given and take a rest day. Stop to appreciate what you have and don't always be chasing the next thing. That's the 4 that relate to a creator. Now, whether or not there is a creator, what if every person on earth believed that and did those things? What if we all said, the first one is believe that there's a creator. What if we all said, yes, I agree. There seems to be somebody who made everything that there is. Number 2, that somebody is telling us not to make things more important than our acknowledging of that, than our respecting of the fact that we are a created being, that we are not in and of ourselves, that brings a sense of responsibility. If we were made, then there must be something we were made for. What if we believed that? So number one, we believe there's a creator, and number two, we believe that we were made for something. Number three, don't misuse the Lord's name in vain. Don't take the Lord cheaply. There are people who think that this means don't curse, don't cuss, don't say swear words in whatever culture. That's actually not it. There is a place in the Bible that talks about how it's better to use kinder language and not so salty. The Apostle Paul talks about that, and he says it's better to use the right words than to use cheap words. If anytime you have to resort to a curse word, that probably means you weren't intelligent enough to come up with a better word. So maybe come up with a better word, and that'll keep the conversation going better. But this isn't there. This is take God seriously. Number four, take a day off, rest. What would happen if we never did that? If we just never stopped to appreciate what we have and to enjoy the relationships that we have, the clothes, the home, the vehicle that we have, the opportunity to go sit out and have a picnic sometime, go to the beach. If we were just always pushing for more, probably we would always be unsatisfied because we'd never let ourselves enjoy what we have, and we'd always be afraid that we're missing out on something and that there's one more thing. So we'd be very anxious if every person in the world refused to take a break. So those are the commands or the prescriptions related to us and the Creator. The rest are about living with each other, and they're meant to be taken in context with the first. So let's see how it works. Honor your parents. Learn how to respect other people, starting in your house. That's basically what that command is. Let your family environment be where you learn how to respect other people, how to live in a way that acknowledges that there's more than just you, starting with the parents who raised you. What if everyone did that? If every man and woman in the world respected their parents? I'm not saying every parent is worthy of respect. I'm saying if we made a choice to respect the position of mother and father, what would happen in the world? And what would happen if no one did that? If every person totally ignored their parents and immediately rebelled at every opportunity, what would the world be like? The next ones are about relationships with other people, 6 through 10. Number 6, don't murder people. Okay? Number 7, don't commit adultery. Number 8, don't steal stuff. Number 9, don't lie about things. Tell the truth. Number 10, don't spend your time coveting or being envious about stuff that your neighbor has. Now, you can want to earn for yourself similar things, but don't think about taking that one that your neighbor has. So that's it. So let's kind of talk about 6 through 10. Don't murder. Well, what would happen if everyone on earth decided I shouldn't go around murdering people? What would that mean? Well, that would mean that there's no murder. There's nobody getting killed on the street. There's no home invasions. There's no maniacal plots to kill people for their estate or for their money or whatever else, or for a position. We would never have to fear that someone would try to take our life through murder. Now, it doesn't say don't kill, because soldiers are allowed to kill in defense of country, and we're even allowed to take a life if we must in defense of ourselves. It means value life. Don't take it as cheap. Other people's lives matter just as much as yours. What if everyone on earth did go around murdering people? What kind of life would that be? We would be fearful all the time. We would be constantly having our eyes looking over our shoulder to find out if we're safe. We'd be on self-defense mode all the time. As a martial artist, I teach green mode, yellow mode, which is caution, and red mode, imminent danger mode. If people were constantly going around and killing each other, everyone on earth believed that was okay to do, then I'd constantly be in red mode. Anxiety would reign. There couldn't be any rules in society if it were like that. Number 7, don't commit adultery. Don't go trying to invade into a marriage. That's what it means. A marriage is meant to be a lifelong covenant, a endless agreement between two people who literally become one flesh in God's eyes. Don't invade that and wreck it. That's what adultery is. And if you're married, don't be bringing people in from outside the marriage. What if every single person did that? What if you never had to worry about getting married because you never had to worry that your spouse would cheat on you? Or if you would know that they would, no one would get married. If you knew immediately, well, they're not going to be faithful to me, no one would get married. And marriage would fall apart. And marriage is the cornerstone of society. That's the start of a family. So there wouldn't be families. And without families, then there's no reason for people to be invested in one another. And so then everything starts to break down, doesn't it? How about don't steal? Don't take other people's stuff. What if every person on earth agreed with that? We all said, yep, I won't take other people's stuff. Then we would have no fear that someone would break into our home, would take our car, would steal a job out from under us, trick us out of a job, whatever else, steal our girlfriend, our boyfriend, our husband, our wife, whatever it is. We would never be worried that anyone would take something that's not theirs. What if everyone did? What if everyone went around saying, steal what you can, take what you can? By the way, some of the philosophies I just showed have that philosophy. Take what you can. What if everyone did that? What would it be like? Would you want to live in a world in which you constantly had to be fearful that everyone would try to take everything from you all the time? Number 9, tell the truth. Don't give false testimonies about each other. Only say what's true. Jesus said it a different way. He said, make sure your yes always means yes, that no one ever has to doubt when you say yes, you meant yes. Or if you said no, you meant no. They never have to question that motive. What would it be like if you always knew that? If someone said something to you that you knew it was so, if they're saying that, that's what it is. Imagine a relationship where that's the case. If your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife always told you the truth. Imagine if your boss always gave you full disclosure on things, on stuff that they saw was coming. They never felt the need to hide things in case you might leave sooner than they want you to while they're trying to replace you. You know, what if they just told you that we're having a tough time economically and that we're going to have to make some hard decisions like 8 months before instead of 2 weeks before? They told you the truth. Or what if employees told each other the truth? What if no one ever lied to protect themselves? What if everyone lied? What if everything everyone said was not true? Or at least you never knew because they had no issue with telling you untrue things. Some of the philosophies that I just showed say that's okay. Truth is a matter of perspective. Truth is what will get you to your goal. Say what you need to say, and that can still be honorable to you. What if that's what people meant by truth? And the last one, don't covet. It's okay to want things. It's okay to want to earn things, but don't constantly look at your neighbor or someone else or a person online and say, wow, I wish I had their stuff. I'm so unsatisfied with what I have. I wish I was as tall as them. I wish I had it easy like that person. I wish. What if no one ever did that? They just paid attention to themselves. Where am I at? What can I do? And what if everyone was constantly looking in envy of everyone else? Oh, I want what they have. What kind of world would that be? So let's go back through it and see if the 10 Commandments make sense. Believe there's a creator and that he made us to have relationships with each other. Honor your parents and your homes. Don't murder people. Don't commit adultery. It doesn't matter what someone else does. You be faithful. Don't steal. Tell the truth. Keep your eyes on your own stuff. And what if no one did it? What if the opposite? Rebel against your parents and any authority at all times. Murder people if you can. Cheat. Commit adultery. Steal everything you can. Take stuff. Lie as much as you need to. And keep your eyes on everything else that everybody has. What would happen if everybody did that? I think the answer is the world would blow up. We see a lot of that sometimes. Now, later, Jesus summarized this as love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. Be for one another. And that's where the tagline for our channel comes from. He said, that's it. That's the way you have to live. Remember that you're not in this alone. You were created and you have other people around you. So let's help each other to be successful and not just only help ourselves. Now, the later New Testament books, Paul, James, Peter, they write about specific ways to do these things in certain situations. Paul talks a lot about marriage. James talks about work and governing, and so does Peter. And Paul talks about parenting and children. But they're all just basically ways to do these 10. They're just helps to say, if you want to see what this would look like in a house, this is what it would look like. In a marriage, it would look like loving and respecting each other. That's what it would look like. With children, it would look like honoring your parents and being good to your children, investing into your children. And we could read all those, but the basics are the 10. So that's the challenge. Does that make sense as a good life philosophy? If it were true, would your life and the life of others around you be better? If the answer is yes, might it be because it is true and that we do have a creator who said, I have a way for you? That's something to think about. Hope you enjoyed today.